I guess maybe I would start maybe on a more serious note and say thank you very much, Roxanne, for coming here today. Yeah, I'm sure Bryn has given you the broader context. This is John Howard Week across Canada, and the team here historically have not done anything during John Howard Week. It was sort of a non-event. And we decided this year that we would make it an event. And so this is really very much tying in with their professional development for members of the John Howard team. But also this is being recorded. So say nice things. And because it is available from our site so that people who aren't necessarily online right now will be able to go and listen to your talk as others that we've had during the week, and sort of be able to everybody gain some wisdom as a result of this. So in terms of your the work that you have and continue to do more broadly with the Adventure Group, and I would guess say your latest project, unless you got another one cooking somewhere, certainly the outreach center and the success and expansion that's taken place there. I know just from our monthly briefing. So I know you're really busy, and so a huge thank you for agreeing and coming to have a chat and answer a few questions today.
Thank you for inviting me to be here today, Keith.
Okay, over to you, your show.
Okay, thank you so much. And so, as mentioned, my name is Roxanne Carter-Thompson. I am the Executive Director of the Adventure Group. I started with this organization back in 1993. It was created in 1992, and it was created to address the needs of young people in our community. And our organization has grown and developed over the years. In 2002, we looked at and were able to define that if we're just working with youth and not working with their parents, then we're probably not addressing the needs in a way that will be transformative. And the very essence of what the Adventure Group is and who we are, to our very core, is an organization that provides supports to individuals in an innovative way. We embrace a adventure-based and experiential methodology. We've operated a ropes course that many of you on this that are viewing this presentation today would have perhaps experienced. Unfortunately, due to Fiona, we are now going to have the opportunity to do a full rebuild. And we were going to be doing a renovation, and now we're going to do a rebuild. So, the ropes course and the programming that we offer through adventure-based programming really is about helping people to unlock their potential wherever they're at. And in fact, we have a philosophy within the Adventure Group where we call our staff PCOOPs, people in charge of unlocking potential. And I'm proud to have been a PCOOP for a long time. And I know that the theme is about service. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our organization really comes from a intervention and prevention based model. Prevention from the perspective is that we run programs and services for youth in the summertime in the form of summer programs. Everyone thinks we run summer camps. What we really do is provide an opportunity for youth between the ages of 14 and 25 to learn how to come together as a community of young people from all different areas of our community and to learn from each other. Young people who are perhaps going off to school and getting an education, who come from a family home where maybe mom or dad make their breakfast for them in the morning before they start work, and then are mixing together with young people who don't have a place to live or are living with an aunt and uncle and don't know if they're even going back to school in the fall, and are learning from each other. And they're learning by a service initiative in which they run and operate the camp. And they run every aspect of the camp for 9 to 14-year-olds. And that camp is about instilling and providing opportunities for young people to learn leadership skills, communication skills, positive and healthy decision-making skills. And we know that by teaching, that's how we learn ourselves, and that's how we truly retain. So it's really a youth leadership model in which we are providing a service to our community, a safe place for parents to be able to take their children where they know their children are learning valuable skills. And oftentimes, those individuals that are participating at our camp are children of the parents that we work with in our intervention-based programs, such as our Life Skills Initiative. We have a program that's for the younger set, 18 to 30-year-olds, that runs several times a year in our Montague satellite office and in our Charlottetown office. And that's through the Youth Employment Strategy. And young people, again, are between the ages of 18 to 30. Program runs for 12 weeks, and then there's an opportunity to participate in the work experience component, which is supposed to be for 14 weeks, but we really set it out to be an opportunity for meaningful employment in which the employer can have access to some funding for 14 weeks to train the individual. And then we
Sorry,
have another,
Roxanne,
yes,
your presentation's not currently on the screen. So
that's okay.
Okay,
That's
wanted to
okay.
make sure. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Good.
okay. I'm
Thank
going
you.
to go to the
Sorry.
presentation once I get to the transition piece. That's fine.
Perfect. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. And then the organization offers another program called the Prosper Program. And that was really created to be able to provide support to individuals that wanted to work within specific sectors, because back in 2018, our province was experiencing labor shortages within the construction sector, the agriculture sector, the seafood sector, and the hospitality sector. And then 2020 hit, and now we have shortages in all sectors. And that program provides a life skills program for individuals of all ages over the age of 18, and they can participate in that program in Montague or in our Charlottetown office. And with that particular program, it's about people, again, having the opportunity to unlock their potential and identify their barriers and have an opportunity to address those barriers. And then we move into 2021, where life changed for the staff of the Adventure Group, because we made the decision to put in a proposal to take on and oversee the Community Outreach Center. And that has led us into a new journey, which has been a pretty amazing journey so far. So I do have a presentation for you that will help to capture some of the services that we provide at the center. So as we've transitioned, our mission and mandate, as I said before, has been about supporting people to unlock their potential. With the Community Outreach Center, we are supporting and connecting individuals who are experiencing homelessness or at risk of homelessness to client-centered services while meeting their basic needs and providing a safe space. Our guiding principles are that we're human-centered. We provide a safe environment. We've been working with our community partners, including the police department, to ensure that we are providing a safe space here for all. And our guests here help us to ensure that as well. Collaboration, we work with, and I'll talk about this a little bit more into the presentation. There's a group of us, 14 partners of organizations throughout the community who come together once a month. Sorry? Did you have a question, Brent? And did you have a question?
Nope.
Okay. Inclusiveness, trauma-informed care approach. So we deliver services that are understanding of and responsive to the impact of trauma. And the continuum of care. We honor our role as one of the pillars to work to improve support and services. In-house, we provide basic needs, case management, programming, mental health support, education resources, access to collaborative services, such as provincial housing, Canadian Mental Health Association, social assistance, community legal information, John Howard Society, public health nursing, probation services, and our goal is to have those services expand, and we're working on that right now. The warming center, as I said, provides opportunity for basic needs to be met. We do have laundry facilities. We do have clothing here. We actually had to stop our donations for a while because we don't have the storage. And safe storage of belongings, which that that's challenging as well because we can only accommodate so much. And then food, water, coffee, and washroom facilities. We have expanded our case management approach. We have 2.5 positions of case managers that are here right now, and their caseloads are full to capacity. Our numbers, we're working with more than 600 total clients right now on that's not the case management, but the numbers that we hold are more than 600. Our monthly numbers are between 250 to 300 unique individuals. And I've been doing head counts lately. We've had 102 by noon. So our numbers have gone up considerably in the community. The case management is housing referrals, employment assistance with basic life skills, financial planning and budgeting, support with food security, and connecting individuals with available resources, addictions and mental health support, and ongoing intervention, connection, and planning. And this is all, it's certainly not mandated that when people walk through our door that they have to access a case manager. It's all by choice. I'm really excited to announce that we have education support. We're really fortunate to have hired Carla Rowan, and she has created a beautiful classroom in the basement. We're partnering with Holland College. There's GD preparation and testing, study groups, literacy and numeracy upgrading, and for those who want it, college and university applications, and working on aptitude testing. And Carla's very innovative in her approach and has been pulling in other resources as well. And I'm excited to be able to announce some of the partners that we're going to be able to work with. Mental health and addictions, we have an in-house mental health coordinator, and that is actually through a partnership with Canadian Mental Health Association. Again, trauma-informed care and practice, in-house training and mental health support for staff. And I'm going to talk about that a little later. This presentation is not just going to be about supports for clients, it's also going to be supports for the people who care for the clients. Referrals and connection to external service providers such as McGill, Outreach Team, Detox, Queen Street Clinic, and more. In-house crisis support and assessments, collaboration with the mobile mental health team. We've actually had a mobile mental health nurse volunteer here and being able to provide us with services for primary health care for clients 6 hours a week. We're looking at making that a little bit more permanent, and we have some other plans in regards to primary health care in which we want to be working with nurse practitioners, and we have a doc who's interested in working with us as well. And we have some other future plans of how we would like to have. Originally, we thought we would be having a examining room, but we're looking at expanding on that and having more, a bigger proponent to be able to provide primary health care for clients. So in-house mental health and addictions programming and collaborative partners programming. Our program development, so we do have an activity coordinator who has done put on some amazing programs here. You can come in the building and you can see a game of bingo happening, art class, a women's wellness, and there has been a young adult peer support program that happens in the basement in our beautiful multi-purpose room, that we were fortunate to be able to have furniture that has been supported through Reaching Home and the support of John Howard Society. I can't begin to tell you how much use that room gets now with the comfortable, welcoming furniture that we've been able to purchase, and a van that we're going to have coming our way, and that's thanks to John Howard Society as well. So that van is going to help with our wellness program and being able to do tours offsite, in which we plan on doing equine programming and other type of horticultural activities as well, in which we really allow people to get to become one with nature and promote wellness from a holistic perspective. And as I mentioned before, we have collaborative partners, Canadian Mental Health Association, John Howard Society, Blooming House, Salvation Army, Peers Alliance, the Micmac Confederacy, Native Council of PEI, Resource Abilities, and Social Development Housing, Upper Room, Soup Kitchen, Community Legal Information, and the Police Department. The role of our collaborative partners is to provide services to guests of the COC. They support the COC staff and management in meeting identified goals and work collaboratively on client cases to ensure best outcomes, such as our the case management sessions, the case conferencing that happens here every second Wednesday. I mean, when we look at that model, it really allows us to work in a unified way, and it really supports clients from a client-centered approach. Moving forward, extended programming using both internal and external knowledge and resources. Down the road, we've talked about potentially having a social enterprise. There's lots of ideas brewing here, that's for sure. Addictions, counseling and support. We want to have office hours provided here and alternative therapies provided in-house, and we're working on that. Cultural education and programming we want to have, and we're working towards having drumming circles happen here once a month. We were actually, there was a death in the community that impacted one of our clients within his family, and they were able to have a ceremonial drumming circle here just 2 weeks ago, and it was privately held in the resource room in the basement. And primary care, like I said, we're really working towards ensuring that we're providing more primary health services for our clients and recreational activities. I'm going to switch over here. And so that's a little bit about the services that we provide. Is there any questions before I start talking about other services that are needed for individuals that work within this field? Do you see anything there, Bren? I don't know if I see if there's any hands up or anything.
I do not see any on my end either.
Okay.
I have a question quickly, Roxanne. How many people do you currently have in your GED program right downstairs?
She's running between 15 to 20 participants who are utilizing that program. I used to know the numbers off the top of my head, and I could say 9, and I could say 14, and I could say 16, and now I just say, just did a tour today, and my understanding is running between 15 to 20, and she's running that program to Monday to Thursday, and then she also comes in and provides an option once a month on the weekends as well. All of our case managers and our mental health coordinator provide services on the weekends. We just don't want the services to be provided on Monday to Friday. And our case managers also work evenings as well. We really try to have an approach here where there's other support services available in the evenings and on weekends.
That's great. Thanks, Roxanne.
Any other questions? Thank you. Okay. So something that's really important to our organization, and I'm sure to many organizations who work within this field, we know there's labor shortages, and trying to access qualified individuals is difficult. But I think it's really important in all fields, but in particularly in, the humanitarian services field, that I always say my job is to support the people who are caring for our clients, and creating an environment in which people understand. We say this as parents all the time. If you don't fill up your cup, if you don't fill up your gas tank, you don't have the energy and perhaps the patience and capacity to do the work that needs to be done. And so it's really important that we look at what services need to be in place for staff. So we're really looking at a training model that needs to be there, but more than that, we're providing on-site services for staff to be able to look at their own traumas and how they're impacted every day in the work that they do, and vicarious trauma. And so we have a practitioner that comes in. She just presented to our group this week, to our staff, and so that they can book sessions that cost $0 to them, and they can access this session. At this point, they probably would have 3 to 6 sessions that they can access a year that helps them to be able to deal with the trauma, that either past traumas that might impact them in the work environment, or just experiences that they're having here. I've always said that I stopped watching the news back when I started working at the Adventure Group in 1993, because what I saw in the daytime, I needed time to process that in the evening, and I didn't need to hear about more of what was happening in the world that was negative. I was already hearing enough. And so I think it's really important with our staff that we're providing them a modality in order for them to be able to deal with what they're experiencing here on a daily basis. And then we also have a counselor that provides trauma support that they can access as well, again, with zero expense to them, and they can access that individual. If someone is feeling that they're in need of an appointment soon, then we can call the individual that we hire and contract, and they could be in as early as next week. So I really think it's important as providers that we look at, I know we focus on training, but we look at what other services and supports are needed for the individuals who provide the valuable service to the vulnerable populations that we work with. So I'm wondering, not knowing how many are on the call, if people are open to having a bit of a discussion of, what are services that you provide to your staff, or what would be your wish list of what you would like to be able to provide, or what would you like to be able to have access to? I'll leave a moment for people to pause and reflect on that. And if you're watching this later, I encourage you to write down what your wish list is, and then go to your supervisor and think about creative ways in which you can provide these services to staff.
Roxanne, it's Keith. There may be an opportunity there. Two things. You and I spoke I think some weeks ago now. Time goes by so quickly. And our board has decided to move ahead with an employee assistance program. So happy to share that with you in terms of it's an add-on to the existing program that we have now with Sun Life. And as part of this EAP program, we do have the opportunity for critical incident debriefing as well for extra cost. So that's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is to do with professional development of the individuals. And so we've set aside some money in our upcoming budget for professional development of the team. Both the caseworkers who are working directly with the clients and those who are working indirectly with clients. And so what my thought is that as our team here, as a starting point, we're going to get together and see, maybe some people have identified some of the same needs, and there may be opportunities, to provide online courses or courses in person. It hasn't come in yet, but certainly I would be happy to share that with you and others around town, because if I have two people who've identified, having some training and vicarious trauma, and you have two, and somebody else, we can sort of put it all together and maybe get a better deal, if we're having more people or what have you. Or there may be courses that, or training. I'd like to think more of professional development than training, where in fact there may be areas that your folks have identified that we haven't, because we don't know of it or hadn't thought about it, and vice versa. So be very open. I'm just wondering if we should tack that on as an agenda item to our community advisory committee. I know we talk about training, every meeting, but it's a bit of an unstructured. It's not. It's
You're
more
right.
of, what do you have going on this week, sort of thing. But I'm just wondering if we should, set aside some time and try to develop I don't know, an action plan, a strategy to address training across the participants that are there.
I think that's a great idea, that we can look at within our group of 14 partners at what we talk about what training is going to happen, but perhaps we should be talking about what training needs to happen.
Yeah, it's a
And
different discussion.
Yeah, it is a different discussion. And, we've been really fortunate to be able to utilize some training seats within the province. So if there's seats available, then we're made known of that. So then it doesn't cost us. And those seats were going to be paid for anyway. So it's a great way to be fully utilizing resources that are available in our community, not replicating and I guess just being good stewards of the resources that are available and how we reallocate. That's been very innovative to be able to access some of the government seats that are available and look at what more that we can be doing. But I also challenge us to really put on our thinking caps of beyond training, beyond professional development, what else is needed? And, and Keith, what we have done is we've worked it into our budget that the counselor, we know that we have X amount of dollars that we're going to pay that particular individual. So it's not an EAP program, but she actually is registered with an EAP. And we can access her, like I said, whenever she's needed. We don't commit to so many a month, but she knows that pretty much she's going to have so many sessions with us a month. So she actually kind of holds those for us. So that's really helpful too. And we've been doing that for years.
No, that's really a unique way of doing it. The way I classified it in my brain is you created your own private EAP program.
Yeah, and so it really,
to an extent.
So what I did was many years ago when we didn't have the funds to do this, when we would get our GST money back, I would allocate that GST money for professional development. And what came under professional development was opportunity for debriefing. And would just say to staff, this is your PD money. You can use it however you want. And if you want to book an appointment with this particular individual, that is there for you. And, once you get past 3 appointments, let me know, and then I'll have to figure it out. But so that they knew that they could have that as their discretion. And I think it just gave people, once they have the autonomy too, they just know that they can go do that.
No, that's great. It's great. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? I know that I was told that I had a half an hour, and I think we're a little bit over that now.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. And it's just to give people our reference point, and we're probably not as many online today, probably because some people may have decided to not go to the office or do other things. The weather, I'm just looking out my window, and I still haven't seen the snow that's supposed to have started 3 hours ago. So
well, I tend to believe what we're told, because I have been in those positions where I don't, and then, an hour later, you're in a different situation. So thank you so much for inviting me here today. Thank you for putting on these lunch and learns, and hope you're enjoying John Howard Society Week. And thank you for all that you've been doing for our organizations. The Reaching Home money has really allowed us to be able to build capacity within our organization.
And I thank you for the cooperation with our group. And, I always hear good things from the staff with their interactions with your people, and, the folks at the outreach center. We always feel welcome in your building. And I think that comes from the leadership of the organization. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We're pretty fortunate. We have a really strong team here. Donna Keenan is our director, and she certainly sets the tone for creating a welcoming environment. That's for sure.
Good.
So thank you so much.
Have a nice weekend, and good luck. Good luck with your submissions.
Thank you. You too. Okay, great.
Thank
Okay,
you,
bye.
Roxanne.
All right, bye.
Bye.